Hi guys, how you doing? So it is now a wet morning here in the UK, and I want to welcome all my subscribers, the new subscribers. Say hello to all my other subscribers, and welcome aboard. Enjoy the train of model making, so to speak. Anyway, so look, what I want to talk to you about. Well, I want to talk to you about the new Terminators, but what I want to do is just have a rant as well at the same time, because I think people get the idea that when Forge World or GW release something, that's it. That's what everything's going to be like from now on. But it doesn't always happen. It's like these guys, the Tartaros Terminators, pattern Terminators. It's just a variant of Terminator Armour. It doesn't mean that these are the ones you've got to field. It just says that these are just another variant, very much like the Iron Armour. The Mark 6 or Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 3, Mark 4, Mark 5, Mark 6 Marine Armour. There's a variant. It's like the old Predator and the new Predators. They're just different variants now. And like the Dreadnoughts. So we'll start off with the Dreadnoughts first. So when we look at the Dreadnoughts, the very first Dreadnought I saw when I was a kid was this one. Okay, so the Fury, I think it is. Yeah, it's the Fury. There's Chuck, Eddie, and Fury. And so that was the first one that I saw, and I sat there and I went, oh, wouldn't it be great if they did a plastic one? You could cut it up, and cutting up metal miniatures took forever. If you weren't very good at it as a kid, you were going to mess it up, and or bugger up your parents' tools, especially your dad's tools, or your granddad's tools in my case. You could do things with it, you could add stuff to it, it could stand or stuff, but it wasn't very poseable and you couldn't do much with it at the end of the day. There wasn't a lot you could actually do with it. And then later on, Games Workshop brought out other Terminators, and I've got no other Dreadnoughts, but I haven't got any Dreadnoughts to spare, so I've only got this one, which is a 412 Dreadnought. So they brought out other ones, but it's the same principle of the stubby leg that you couldn't change, but you could add stuff to it, make it more ornate, and change the weapons on it, have different arm weapons on there and stuff like that. And obviously this is a 412 piece, so it's covered in stuff, but it just goes to show you what you could do with it. But it was the legs that were the pain in the arse. We could never do anything with the legs, and if you did cut it, they never looked right and they never stood properly, or the pose was unnatural. And we always wondered how this thing walked along. Was it that sort of pose? Was it that kind of waddle all the way along the battlefield? And then they brought out the Contemptor, which was the first time where we all sat back and we went, those of you that are into the hobby all sat there and we went, my God, socket and ball joints at last. We've now got a variation where we can convert it, we can pose it how we want, we can do all sorts of different things with it. And we always wondered why GW never did it in the first place. Well, we'll never know, but it was just one of the things. Maybe it was a industry thing that was just hard to do, a production thing that was just hard to get done. And as technology's changed and new people have come on board, new ideas have been thrown in there, and things have happened. So things do change. So we started off with different variants in Terminator Armour as well. Now I haven't got any of the old versions, which I wish I did, but there was like a very rounded shoulder pad. I mean, there was different marks of Terminator Armour, and the one that we all settled on was Dogfaced. The reason I call it Dogfaced because it reminds me of an old sort of hound dog kind of face, or a beetle or something like that. So it's very bulky, very big armour, and very wide. And the possibilities for converting were fantastic. I mean, the ones previous to that were metal. The ones previous to just past that were the Space Hulk ones, which were plastic, which we all used. And then they brought out more metal versions of this, and then it moved into plastic. And then we found all sorts of things we could do to it. We could cut stuff up, we could glue stuff to it, we could make it big up by putting green stuff into it, we could repose the arms and stuff. So there was so much stuff we could do with this. We could even put human heads in there instead of helmets and stuff like that. So there was so much we could do to it. But even then people went, oh no, I don't like it when they first came out, but we embraced it, we enjoyed it. Very much like the Dreadnoughts, very much like everything else that's released by GW and Forge World. We learned to embrace it and we enjoy it. And this brings me on to this new variant here. So the Tartaros pattern Terminator Armour is just another variant. You've got to think about it, all these different, in the system, in the game and stuff like that, there's all these different worlds that are either forge worlds, manufactoriums and stuff like that, that produce armour, vehicles for a constant state of war. So they're going to come out with different variants. And of course, if they have a set of armour built by one planet, which is this style, they're going to reduce it down. So it's like taking, for example, a carries assault pattern. Or assault gun, okay, assault cannon, and you know, it's built for a dreadnought or for a vehicle, but in time they will learn to shrink that down so it become portable, so a man can walk around with it, or a space marine can walk around with it. So I expect this is what they've done with the same kind of armour. They've looked at the armour and gone, well, that works really well for the vehicle, let's see if we can shrink that down and encase it around a man, or a space marine in our terms. So this is what they've done with it. And I've got to say, I like it. I like it. Now I've got rid of the eagle at the front, or the other bits. I've just got a little bit of cleaning up to do on these, and I got rid of the Crux Terminatus on the shoulder pad, and I've not reposed it too much in hot water, but you can do it. When we were talking to Will Hayes, he was saying that we should look at keeping the shoulder pads as in line with the upper body, so it gives it more symmetrical, more a rounded look to the top. And this pattern's based on an old GW model from a long time ago, which had a kind of bare head to it, which was kind of cool. But guys, these are lovely. I mean, the only thing I would say is that there's so many tiny fiddly bits, because they are quite a small model, and you know, you just have to bear with it. I think my battery's going to run out soon, so I'll have to come back to this. So you have to bear with these, you know, and just make sure you keep all the little bits to one side and don't lose them, because I lost one of the little shoulder pads. It took me about 10 to 15 minutes to try and find it, which is a bit of a pain in the arse, believe me. But all in all, I'm very, very happy with the style of these minis and the, you know, the stuff that comes with them. This, you know, it's optional, you don't have to stick it on, but it's nice that you can. The only downside is the heads. I think, you know, by not having a full size helmet, you're restricted to just a half head helmet sort of thing, so it just slots in nicely, very much like the Contemptor. So it's only half a head, and if I've got a Contemptor head just here, you can see what I mean. So imagine that on a marine scale, and you know, on a Terminator scale, so the head's a lot smaller, but it's just half a head, basically a flat part of the head. The other side thing that I didn't really like too much about it was, I really wish they'd put a ball joint above the pelvis to connect the two bodies, so you could have it tilted or not, because it kind of lacks that movement in the actual piece itself when you glue it together. You know, you're restricted with certain angles only, which means you leave gaps in the armour which you have to fill in with green stuff, which is not a problem. You know, these things, I mean, like I'm saying, I love these things, and if you can really work on that the whole look, I mean, it's just beautiful. Oh, it's really hacking it down with rain outside. So yeah, I've got to say I'm well pleased. Now this is a little bit of conversion I did. So I drilled out the inside there and replaced it with a head. I had a bit of a bad cast on a gun, so I got rid of the magazine, because the magazine was just hollow basically, and replaced it with an ammo feed, which looks quite nice. You've got the spent cartridge side there, and you've got the ammo loading up there, which kind of reminds me of the old Chaos stuff anyway, so it fits in quite well. Reposed the legs as well, just to give you an idea of how you can do that. So I pushed down on the pelvis to repose these legs. You can see where there's a gap where it doesn't quite fit in, which is just there, because I tried to tilt the body, so it just leaves a bit of gap, but I can fix that with green stuff. The top knots don't come with it, because obviously I'm using this for my pre-heresy stuff. But just to give you a size comparison of these models, and let's just get them so they're equal. There you go. So it's taller. Okay, yeah, fair enough, this is standing on a little bit of a base, but it is, if I just sort of equal that out, there you go. It's still a tad taller than, so you see that I've lowered it down a bit. It's still a tad taller than the normal Terminator, okay? And, okay, it's not as wide, But you know, GW aren't saying you've got to go and buy these now. Fortwide aren't saying you've got to use these from now on. They're just saying it's another variant, and it's a variant you can convert. Now, when we spoke to Hayes, he said you can stick normal shoulder pads on these, which when I say normal, I mean these kind of shoulder pads. Just a little bit of greeny stuff behind them, and it will hold it in place. But you know what? I've got to say, hats off to them. Hats off to Fortwide for pushing these out. Hats off to Will Hayes for the great sculpting job he did on these as well. I mean, these are fantastic. You know, and I've seen the other ones that are going to be coming out, which are the close combat assault Terminators as well. So they're really cool. So guys, you know, yeah, fair enough. They're not what we're used to. You know, would we have changed bits and pieces if we had it? Well, we don't know. We're not designers. We don't make models for a living. We don't sculpt, and I certainly can't sculpt stuff this tiny. For me, I mean, I can just get away with basic green skill stuff, but this stuff is just immense. And so for me, yeah, I think they've done a bang-on job on these. A lot of people don't like them, you know, but that's your view. You're allowed to have your own personal views and stuff. Otherwise, this world would be crazy if we all like the same thing. So yeah, blown away. But I envision there's going to be more, because they've got to be. Because why would you just release one set of Terminator pattern armour if you're not going to release others as well? You look at all the stuff that they've been releasing and the trend that it's following. So we're seeing a lot of the old out of print models appearing. We're seeing a lot of armour that's coming out. So you can see the new patterns like the Heresy armour all the way down to the Iron and Crusade armour. You know, we've even got a Beaky armour and a Mark V armour out there. So, you know, there's going to be other variants appearing, guarantee it. And no wonder there'll be other stuff. I mean, I've seen the Spartan Land Raider, and when that comes out, you're not going to see me for dust. Anyway, so I just want to give a quick shout out, Tom. Excuse me, Tom, your box is being packed. I'm just waiting for some stuff to turn up so I can pack it safely, and that'll be off to you by Thursday. Monday at the latest, oh no, Tuesday at the latest, because we've got a bank holiday over here from Friday to Monday. Ren Zero, just waiting for some packing to turn up to send your stuff off to you. Right, competition winners for the big winter competition. So Barnaby, I think it's Barnaby, you know who you are. There'll be a package on its way to you Thursday, which will be cool. I'll be putting it in the post on Thursday. And Cody, if you're out there, your stuff is being picked up on Thursday as well. And I'll be packaging that and sending it out to Canada to you. And the rest of the guys, I'm on it, don't worry, you'll be getting your stuff very soon. So I just want to say thank you to everybody. Welcome new subscribers. Obviously, make your own minds up about these. Have a go at them. You know, they're new, they're exciting. Yeah, that's all I can say really. I think I've just talked for England. Okay chaps, listen, you look after yourself and I'll speak to you very soon. Take care, bye bye.